My name is Margie Scherer from livealittlehigher.com. I want to tell you how I became a Baal Teshuva. Many years ago, I'm talking about like 27 years ago, my husband and I were going from Caracas, Venezuela to Miami, Florida. We took a national airline, and when we were half into the flight, I started feeling very bad. I started feeling very dizzy. I felt like my stomach was on my throat. I couldn't understand the feeling, and suddenly when I realized that the plane had shut off his engines, there was no engines going on in this plane, and the plane was actually going down. So I asked my husband, do you feel this? Do you feel weird? He says, yes. And I said, do you feel this plane is going down? He said, yes. I said, do you think we're gonna die? He said, yes. At that moment, I got like, okay, I was confronted with my mortality, and I said, okay, I'm gonna die. But I realized that 15 days later, my sister was getting married, and I couldn't come with it. I said, Hashem, how can you do this to us? Like, my parents, how are they gonna get up from a shiva and go to a wedding? I couldn't even imagine the pain of my parents. And I was not even worried about myself, I was worried about them. So at that moment, I promised God, I said, Hashem, I promise you that if we come out safe and sound from this flight, I promise you I will never eat another shrimp in my whole life. That was my promise. Weird promise. So at that moment, instantly, the plane suddenly went on, and the whole thing got leveled, and thank God, 30 minutes later, we came back to Venezuela, to Caracas. We came out of the plane. My whole body was shaking, and my husband looked at me and he said, are you okay? I said, yes, but I made a promise. So he said, what did you promise? I said, I promised I would never eat another shrimp in my whole life. So he looked at me and says, no, I can't believe you made that promise. I can't believe it. How could you promise that? He said, Roberto, I don't want to die. I wanted to be in my sister's wedding. I don't want my parents to suffer. I had to make a promise. This was the only thing that popped into my head. So at that moment, okay, things settled down. But a few days later, he said, you know what? I'm also gonna stop eating shrimp. Why am I telling you this story? Because sometimes Hashem has to send us a little shaky thing in our lives. This was not little, it was big. I feel it was huge, but it was something that really determined the future of my life. At that moment when I made that promise, it's like Hashem looked at me and he said, okay, this girl has a future, I'm gonna leave her in this world. Thank God. So sometimes we're confronted with things in our lives that really are life-changing. They're strong, they're heavy, but they're only there to allow you to come close to God. That's the whole purpose of it. So think about it, and remember, live a little higher. Thank you.